We're right here.
This story begins with Kennedy, a girl who suffers from a terminal illness, which gradually consumes her, to the point of leaving her immobile as well as blind. The worst of the case is that her parents still don't know it, but the truth is that despite this disease she has a purpose here on earth. Even God showed her father in a dream many years before she was born. And at the least expected moment, the miracle that he was waiting for so much happened. Kennedy from a very young age showed herself to be different from other girls, full of infinite faith and love for God. She had the gift of embracing and forgiving those who hurt her without holding a grudge. She also knew what she wanted and set her goals of being a cheerleader and pretending to date the boys. She also liked sports, but what she enjoyed the most was riding in the truck with her father. It was really wonderful when they were together.
Alright, sweeties, I'll be back.
His father never imagined Naughty that it would be the girl, that with a couple of years, she would be so sure of herself that she dared to drive her mother's vehicle when she left it running for a few seconds. But fortunately it did not go too far. Years later, at a football game, Kennedy falls to the ground and is immediately subjected to a medical evaluation. At first glance it was just a few bruises, nothing more. But in reality, something strange is happening, since when the doctor talks to her parents, he insinuates that they suspect that they have hit the girl. Both Heather and Jason are surprised and concerned at such a supposition.
What does this mean?
Faced with this refusal, the doctor explains that the results of the X-ray of the eyes show that the girl has suffered serious trauma, as if she had received a strong blow to the head. The damage that Kennedy has is serious, and the doctor suggests that they take the girl to a specialist, since the deterioration of vision is severe and very fast.
Wrong with me, isn't there?
They spent years searching for a concrete diagnosis, from specialist to specialist, while their vision is dimming more and more. Until finally a doctor confirmed that what Kennedy had was a not very common disease called Batten. This is a disorder that has no cure and prevents the normal development of the cells, causing them to gradually lose their mental and motor capacity. For this reason, her parents are devastated by such news, and they will fight for their daughter until the end.
Mom died,
Kennedy, already almost blind and with great difficulty speaking, before going out with her father for a ride in the truck, asks him how long he has left to live. He simply answers that it doesn't matter what he has left, he lives what he has to live, and promises that in that time he will give everything for her. But as expected, Kennedy performs one of his pranks when his father, entering a store, dares to take the truck and roll a small section of the road, just like he did with his mother when she was little.
I got you!
Kennedy's parents, together with the Batten Society, contact a girl named Charlie, another of the few cases that exist in the country with the same disease. Already almost blind and without articulating words, she meets Kennedy, with whom she immediately identifies. So Kennedy sings her a beautiful song about following and obeying God, and before saying goodbye, he writes her a note letting her know that she is a very special person, and that they will be the best of friends in heaven and on earth. Although Kennedy's health worsened every day, she remained excited and with great courage faced the new stage of her life. And even knowing that little by little the end is near, she continues to be full of love and joy, accepting God's designs, so she decides to be happy for as long as necessary. One night, Kennedy unexpectedly suffered her first epileptic attack, which scared her parents very much, who with much love and patience accompanied her while the episode passed. Despite this, Jason begins to despair when he sees that she does not improve, and without knowing what to do, He asks God on his knees to give his daughter the same opportunities as others to feel normal, and he asks for his blessing. One day, Kennedy's sister organizes a party at her house, and while the boys are dancing and having fun, Kennedy finds herself sad and alone in the kitchen because she thinks that none of her friends are going to want to dance with her. But suddenly her mother tells her she convinces, and one of the boys, seeing her, asks her to dance, and so each of her friends danced with her, making her spend a very happy and special night, while her very excited parents delight in seeing so much happiness. The next day, Jason takes Kennedy to the church to give his testimony to the young people. As a good believer in Jesus, he tells the young people that they must always do good to be able to meet with God again and be able to hug each other. He thanks the boys for the happy and unforgettable moments they had, and that he will miss them very much. At these words, the boys feel very proud to be your friends. As Kennedy leaves the room, her father continues talking, letting them know that soon their daughter will be going home forever. The feeling that invaded the room was incredible, since everyone had been very good to Kennedy and loved her very much. Her father, contemplating that beautiful angel sleeping, thought how could he help her. And at that moment he heard a voice that told him to take her to the game over the weekend. At that moment he still didn't know that there were many more people praying to help those girls like Kennedy. So she obeys the voice and takes her to the game, where Kennedy is very excited, dancing and shouting. Her excitement was so great that she got up and headed towards the field where the cheerleaders were. When one of them caught her talent, she approached her to greet her and find out her name. The next day, the cheerleaders proposed to the coach that Kennedy be the group's cheerleader. Without further ado, they contact Heather, and in complicity they give Kennedy a surprise that makes her very happy, and she agrees to participate in the dance.
Sorry.
The father worries a little, but he has faith that everything will be fine. The practice day, she did amazing. Both her parents and her teammates are very proud of her. The day Kennedy attends the game, but now as a cheerleader, while they are dancing, a classmate injures her ankle. Kennedy immediately gathers the girls into a circle to pray for her.
We cannot get hurt.
Kennedy, like any other girl, starts to like a boy from high school named Yeber. She is very excited, and at home she does not stop talking about him for a second. She names him 1,000 times a day until she falls asleep. Kennedy, unlike her peers, lives life without problems, and that makes them realize that it is not worth worrying about minor problems, that in life you have to fight and give value to things that really deserve it.
There's no challenges.
As the date of the dance at the institute approaches, Heather becomes an accomplice of her daughter to invite Yeber in a very particular way, sending him a note along with a stuffed animal asking him to be her dance partner. He was very flattered and accepted immediately.
Seminary.
So he went looking for her with a bouquet of roses in his hand. Kennedy was so excited that that night she put her illness aside to be a simple girl on her date with her lover. The course passed very quickly, and the day of the performance arrived. Despite the fact that Kennedy had had a few bad days, he gathered his strength and attended in a wheelchair. At the end, her father took the stage to thank the institute for everything he had done for his daughter and asked them not to forget her, since unfortunately Kennedy will not be there next year. Everyone is saddened by the great love they feel for her. One day, as usual, Jason takes Kennedy for a ride in his truck, and without seeing and hardly speaking, she tells her father that a month after she leaves, a miracle will happen, and that if he did good, they would be together forever. When the girls went to visit Kennedy, now unable to see or speak,
Do you think Jaden is cute?
they asked her some questions which she answered with handshakes. One asks if she is afraid. Her answer was no. Another asks if she knows heaven and could seeing Jesus. All the girls were moved and cried when the answer was positive. She transmits her kindness and her inner beauty to all who approach her. Already in her final moments, her mother rocks her in the rocking chair that for generations had rocked babies to sleep, the same rocking chair where her grandmother died, and that now her mother rocks her and sings her a song, while her father prays for her to leave burdens and earthly worries and can leave in peace. Hours later he passed away. A month after Kennedy's departure, her friend Lexi tells her parents that when she said goodbye to her, she felt something very strong.
She was.
And later, when she got home, she lay down on her bed crying and crying for almost an hour, until she felt the presence of someone who put his hand on hers and told her that some missionaries were coming to tell them something that she had to listen with a lot of faith. Days later, just as Kennedy had told him, some collaborators from the church arrived to share a message for his entire family. Lance, Lexi's father, explains that he is angry with God for having turned his back on him since he got cancer of pancreas, the same cancer that took the life of his grandfather and father. But after some wise words from the boys, he opens again the possibilities of believing in God again, being clear that this is the miracle he was going to happen.
Now this has all started to make sense.
Jason confesses that he always knew God's plan for Kennedy, because when she was little, in one of her prayers God spoke to her and told her very clearly that he needed her at home. She never knew the day he would take her, but she knew that she needed her at home. And when she remembered the whole life of Kennedy and her family as if it were a movie, she realized that even though Kennedy was barely a girl, she achieved all her goals, as well as Lexi's family was marked forever. For her, thousands and even millions of families also marked them, and with her young age she did what no person would have done living 100 years. And now Jason has a recurring dream even though he's awake, and he hopes it will come true.